Hi, everybody. I'm here today with our June author of the month for our Cozy Mystery Book Club, Alyn Troy. Alyn has been writing paranormal cozy mysteries since 2020 and found them a welcome distraction as the pandemic raged. He's the author of 20 books spread across three series: the Mystic Brew series, Pixie Twist Mysteries, and Eerie Falls Mysteries. He lives with his wife and fuzzy editor in Northeast Indiana. Welcome, Alyn.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Sure. Okay, quick question. You started writing cozy mysteries during the pandemic, and I just find that like very soothing. I mean, cozy mysteries just give you that good feeling, and especially during times of stress or uncertainty or upheaval. Is that why you started writing them?
Um, it's actually a different story because I realized I went just a little before the pandemic,
Huh?
but when the pandemic hit, the floodgates just opened. I didn't have anything better to do. I was at an author conference in 2019, um, the 20 Books Vegas show. And I
Yes.
remember getting on an elevator in the hotel with another author. And of course, when it's a whole bunch of authors, the first question you ask is, what do you write?
Mhm.
And this other author looked at me and said, cozy mystery, and so should you. And that happened. That happened to be the author Diana Zarissa.
Yes.
She's got well over 150 books out now. So we ended up sitting in the bar just talking cozies. And that was November of 2019. And no, November of 2018. And it took me a full year to get the courage up to write a cozy. And I published it probably November of 2019. And then my wife and I moved across country. We were out in Los Angeles, moved back to Northeast Indiana so that we were in between our two mothers, who are both elderly. And then the pandemic hit, and I was already started on the second book in the Mystic Brews series. I didn't have anything else to do. I published 5 books that year. It slowed down a little bit. I'm
Well,
I'm lucky to get 2 to 3 a year now, but
that's
yeah,
still
it's
very good.
yeah, for 2 years I was pumping out books.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So Mystic Brews was your first series in the cozy genre then?
I had written another series under another pen name, epic, dark fantasy, vampire, urban fantasy. It was a big genre mash, and
Yes.
it wasn't selling well. So I took the Welsh influence that I had done with that historical fantasy and said, okay, let's go modern day, write a cozy, but of course we have to have sprites and pixies and elves
Oh,
and
yes.
all the fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a bit more about your furry editor. My furry,
Uh,
my furry friends do not do editing, but I want to know about yours.
well, my fuzzy editor is a void kitty.
Oh,
He's got a little patch of white right there because
oh,
a true black cat almost never exists. And
yeah.
he's got a few hairs on his belly.
Ah,
But he is my buddy. We went to pick him out at the Humane Society after our previous cat died before we moved out to Los Angeles.
yeah.
And I kind of squatted down in one of the little narrow rooms where they have the cats locked away. And I squatted down to rub one, and this one just jumped in my lap. It's like, okay,
Oh,
you're taking me home.
yes.
Okay, we will. And of
Cats
course,
choose
trying to
you.
convince the Humane Society that we wanted a black cat because he was friendly, not for nefarious purposes. They're always leery of anybody who comes in and wants a black cat for good
Mhm.
reason.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So your black cat's name is?
It depends on my mood.
Okay.
Theoretically, he's Loki because I'm a former photographer in another life. And a photography term, high key means something very bright, lots of whites. Low
Mhm.
key is something that's very shadowy.
Hmm,
So for a void kitty, that fits.
that does. That does make sense. So, Loki, that's a great name. So why paranormal and why not traditional cozy?
Uh, because anything that I've read up through grad school was either historical, and I could not think of a good way to do Dark Ages cozy that wasn't Ellis Peters.
I
I,
was
I
gonna say.
I love her books, but I was like, if I go the magical route, then I can go anything that doesn't fit magic.
Mhm.
It's just, how does that happen? And my characters joke about it because the one in the Mystic Brews series, the sleuth is the clueless American mundane that suddenly discovers she's a witch. And when any whenever she asks about how does that happen, they just look at her and go, haven't you figured it out? It's magic.
Yep.
Exactly. And it was fun doing the spin-off for the Pixie Twist series, which is the one that I've got a book in the book club with, because that was a book two out of the recesses of my mind. I just had one of the girls in the cafe in the Welsh series go, oh, yeah, I've got a cousin back in Los Angeles who has a gimpy wing. She's a pixie and she doesn't fly straight. And that turned into the series that we're into with the Cozy Book Club.
Yep. Yep. So I'm dying to know in your Pixie Twist series, Twizzle, in addition to having a gimpy wing, which I think is really cool, she's a
Mhm.
real estate pixie. So how does that work?
In my world, pixies can be either Tinkerbell
Uh
sized,
huh.
a couple inches high, or they can pop tall.
Uh huh.
So if you go back to the movie Hook with Robin Williams, um, Tinkerbell in that one really wanted to be human size, and she eventually got there. So I just made that. It's easier if we just magic,
Yes.
and they can do that. And the thing is, when they go big, they still have wings, but their wings are tiny, and you can't see them.
Oh, yes.
So they don't fly when they're big. And pixies are very beautiful people, so they are very good at the hospitality industry. They're perky, they're passionate, they really enjoy stuff. Well, Twizzle's a little on the not quite as perky because she grew up with a gimpy wing, and her father is leader of the Pixie Air Wing. He's the colonel in what would be the Air Force,
Mhm.
but the Pixie Air Force.
Yep.
And she can't fly straight, but her father, of course, encourages her to do other things. So she went off and she realized she was really good at sales and became a real estate agent out in this little small Fay town on the coast of California.
Mm. So are her clients all supernatural, or does she also take on human clients?
Well, in my world, you can be Fay and human.
Ah, okay.
So, just your typical witch.
Mhm,
And we just use the catch-all term of Fay.
mhm.
And her town is specifically Fey only, but they do get mundane tourists through sometimes.
Oh, okay.
And this town is based on my time out in Los Angeles because I was a docent on the Santa Monica Pier. So I would give historical walking tours.
Yep.
And I picked the pier up and moved it up the coast, roughly where Santa Barbara is.
Yep.
And I said, that's St. Maurice. So it's Saint Mo, just
Mhm.
like Santa Monica is Saint Mo. So
Got it.
Saint Mo versus Saint Mo.
Great. And then in your Mystic Brew series, of course, there's a coffee shop. So
Hmm.
are you a coffee fan? And if so, how many cups a day do you drink?
Well, thanks to acid reflux, I'm down
Oh,
to about 3 to 4. I make a 6 cup pot,
Mhm.
and it took me, oh, I just got a new coffee maker about 2 months ago. So it took me about 2 weeks to dial in the brew. Yes, I am a coffee snob.
Good for you.
When I started, really getting into the barista side of it, I watched a lot of videos. I went out and got my own little espresso maker, just a cheap little $300 one. Yes, that's cheap.
Yes.
Oh, and learned how to make a good dish cup of espresso, and then it went in the cupboard. I don't drink espresso that very often.
So what's your favorite bean or roast? Are you, if you're not doing espresso anymore, are you into like a South American bean or
It's got to be a dark roast. I don't care for the third wave medium roast with all the floral fruity
Yep,
notes.
yep.
And dark roast is tougher to actually dial in if
Mm,
you're a roaster because you've got about 3 seconds to make up your mind that good enough and dump.
yeah,
Otherwise, you burn the beans.
yep, yep. Oh my gosh. Ugh, that would be horrible. So if you could have a paranormal sidekick of your own, what and who would they be?
I would want probably one of my own characters. I'd want Basil the mini dragon who masquerades as a cat.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
from Australia and
Huh.
he does not show up until book 3 of the Pixie Twist series because Mortimer, the mini dragon masquerading as a cat, he was just bland for me to write. He was always droll, and I thought that would be fun.
Yeah,
And I ran out of steam on Mort at the end of book 2. I was like, okay, something's got to change. And
yeah.
so he had a poker party with all the other mini dragons that they all came in, one from each continent, sat around, and Basil was the character that really spoke to me.
Hmm. Okay.
Sarcastic, a real dry wit, always there with something, ready to add the comic relief, whereas Mortimer would just look and go,
Yeah.
again.
Yep. So how many are your mini dragons? How small are they?
They are a little larger than cat size. It depends on where they are. But see, if you go back to the British myth, King Arthur, Merlin said that there were two dragons sleeping underneath Britain, a white one and a red one. And the mythos says that the red one is the Welsh dragon, the white one is the Saxon invasion dragon.
Mhm.
And they fought, and then Merlin said they were sleeping underneath the island. I took that and said there is a dragon sleeping under each continent and major landmass.
Mhm.
So their mini dragons are there to wake up the big dragons in case of trouble. You
Yes.
never want the big dragons to wake up because they are really grumpy.
Yeah. Let's leave them sleeping.
Hmm.
Tell us about the book that you are using as this
Okay.
month's book club offering.
Um, this month's book is book 2 in the Pixie Twist series. Book 1 is free. If you haven't read it yet, go ahead and grab it. And in that book, Twizzle gets a boyfriend. Don't worry, it's not a romance. You can pretty much just see the through line coming. And her boyfriend is a vampire in a wheelchair.
Oh.
He is based on one of my old wedding clients when I was a wedding photographer. A gentleman showed up in a wheelchair. He had a bicycle accident, bruised his spine, and he showed me what it meant to be handy capable, not handicapped. So I work him in where the sun goes down, the vampire gets his legs back because his body repairs. He walks around, sun comes up, he's back in the wheelchair.
Ah.
So book 2 is what happens when a singer is killed,
Yeah.
and Twizzle and her boyfriend out for an evening stroll along the moonlit beach find the body. Oh
Mm.
no. And of course there's shenanigans and there's a whole big save the pier arc spread across 7 books.
Yeah.
The pier is central because I was the docent at the Santa Monica Pier. The pier is central to it, and the town wants to get rid of the pier. It's an eyesore. Town council leader really wants it gone. So Twizzle and her friends have to try to save it, and it's spread across all 7 books.
Oh, wow. Oh, what fun. Well, thanks for your time today, Alan. And I will put links on down below for the first book in the series. And everybody go download the second book for the book of the month of June. Thank you again.
Thanks.